Hello, it's Shade here. Welcome to our Freebie Friday video. Today's video is going to be about property that's been inherited along with a minor and what are the implications when trying to sell that property. So when people come to us, it's usually at the point at which they already have a realtor, they have a buyer, they have a closing date. The title company then says, stop, wait a minute, we need a court order to be able to move forward because of this minor that's involved that has ownership in that property. So a lot of people are kind of confused and they're not very happy because it costs money, of course, to go to court and get a court order and to also hire a lawyer and things like that. So why do title companies do this? The reason why is mostly because of liability issues. They don't want to be liable in the future when the minor child comes back and says, this transaction was not done fairly and that I, the minor, was cheated out of money that I should have gotten, or the property was not sold at a fair price or whatnot. So because of those kinds of issues, they want a court order approving the sale, because the court would act as a reviewer, so to say, of the transaction and make sure that everything is fair to the minor, and then the court would approve that sale to go forward. The other thing is that the money that belongs to the minor cannot be paid to the minor's parents or guardian. The money has to be kept with the court until that minor turns 18, and the minor can then go and claim that money, him or herself. And so that's the whole process, and that's what it looks like. And it does cost money, and that money for the court case cannot be attributed or allocated to the minor. It has to be absorbed by the adults in the transaction. So the minor gets his or her share free of any court costs and attorney's fees. And the minor's share is going to be taken off the top, deposited first into the court registry before the other heirs get paid their share. So this does cost about, maybe a 3-week delay in the closing process, maybe a month's delay before the other adults will be able to get their money. And most people don't like it, but that's just how the law works in Texas anyway. And I'm pretty sure that's how it works in most other states. This is just to make sure the minors are being protected, that they do have their fair share of that property, that the property can be sold and should be sold as opposed to keeping it because they don't really have a say because they're under 18 at that point, and they may not have somebody looking out for their best interests. So if you have any questions about this particular situation, talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer will be able to guide you. The realtors know a little bit about it, but a lot of the times this doesn't come up so often that they know a lot about it. So talk to a lawyer that's comfortable with this kind of scenario, and they'll be able to help you get an order pretty quickly. And usually there's a court hearing where the lawyer has to bring a professional in to explain why they're selling the property at the price at which they're selling it, why the price is fair, and that's the best that they could do at the moment. And so once the court is satisfied with that information and the testimony, the court would likely approve the sale. And then after the sale is done, there is a receiver appointed for the case that's acting as an agent of the court that would scrutinize everything and make sure everything looks on the up and up. And the receiver would then, along with the lawyer, file a report of sale, and they will review the report of sale. The court will review that to make sure that the proceeds are distributed the way that this was supposed to be distributed, and nobody gets paid until the minor's money is in the court registry. So just to make sure everything is done, because sometimes people can get the money and then they can tweak things on the settlement statement, on the payout, and maybe they can put a lot of costs in there for repair costs and realtor costs and things like that, and then go split it after the sale is done. So the court doesn't want a situation like that. So everything is scrutinized to make sure that only the necessary costs are deducted. Then the child gets paid into the court registry, of course, and then everybody else gets paid, and the other costs are allocated to the adults, not the child. Only taxes and necessary costs, like to pay off a loan and things like that, those are the only ones that are allocated to the minor. So it seems to me like to be a good system to protect minors from being cheated out of their inheritance. If you have any questions, remember to contact a lawyer. You can also contact us, and we'll have another video for you next week. Happy Friday.